Welcome back to Rocket Talk. My name is Connor. Joining me on this episode, as always, we have Luke Peterson and Johnny Lorem. We've got a great show for you guys. The Avengers and Lego Star Wars are now relevant again. We've got some Xbox Series X rumors, and our theaters opening again. And holy crap, what the hell is going on with Apple? Okay, let's just dive right onto the news. So what we've got was there's an Avengers video game coming out, and Spider-Man is exclusive specifically to PlayStation. What does that mean to PlayStation? What does that mean to Xbox and PC gamers? Luke, do you want to start us off with this news topic?
So Square Enix is publishing a Avengers video game. It's going to be coming out pretty soon, and it's going to have you're going to have all your main Avenger crew. And so actually, it's in beta right now. And the game is going to have an exclusive Spider-Man characters DLC that's going to come out a few months after launch. And the internet is not very happy about it. You know, for PlayStation owners like myself, it's a nice benefit because, you know, Spider-Man's one of the most popular superheroes ever. And so being able to play as him adds a lot of extra replayability to that game because, you know, when the game launches, you're playing as Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Miss Marvel. And then they're going to be adding Hawkeye, Spider-Man, plus more down the line. And so, you know, that when Spider-Man gets added for PlayStation players, that's a lot more than they're going to be able to do, and it's going to be great for them. But it's still kind of just a bad move for gamers as a whole because, you know, this is not anything new, but in today's day and age, we've kind of moved away from this. The Xbox had this back in the about 10 years ago. GTA 4 was exclusive had exclusive DLC for the longest time with all the expansions, but in today's day and age with cross-platform and nearly all that, it's just kind of shitty. I just don't see why this is something that needs to be continuing on. Like, as someone who probably isn't getting Avengers, but who has a PlayStation, I just feel bad for, you know, because it's one of those, Connor, if you get an Xbox Series X and you get this game, you can't play Spider-Man, and that's just not cool. There's a difference between Sony having exclusive skins for Crash 4 or an exclusive weapon variant in Call of Duty or just a one-off small mode on the current Modern Warfare. PlayStation players until this fall have exclusive access to survival mode, which is pretty half-baked of a mode anyway, so who cares? But locking a whole popular character is kind of bad, you know, and it's because Sony has all these rights to Spider-Man because Marvel was hurting so much in the 80s and 90s that they sold off, but it's just not a good look.
Exactly. And do we know how substantial the Spider-Man content is going to be?
Not really. It's going to be more of just he's going to be an extra character. I don't know how much more they're going to add in terms of extra content, are there going to be extra missions and all that? For the most part, though, I think the big thing is it's going to be you can play as Spider-Man with your group when you do your co-op missions, as well as playing as all the other characters currently in the game.
Mm. This feels pretty I don't know, not anti-consumer. It just kind of sucks for the overall gaming community that they're pulling a move like this. This is an entire character in a video game. It's not just it's not its own separate title. It's a part of the game. And since we don't know how much he's going to contribute to the overall story, we have no idea how big of a hit Xbox and PC fans players are going to be taking.
Yeah, since it's DLC, it's not going to be as big of an impact story wise, but it's still for the game because, you know, if you look at, you know, people commenting, they'll bring up, oh well, this happened 10 years ago with Xbox when you know, Call of Duty and the GTA thing I mentioned earlier came out exclusively on Xbox first. But the Call of Duty DLC for the longest time launched a month early on Xbox, but that was a month. So if you had a 360, you could play on the new zombie map in March, and then PlayStation would have to wait till April. But like, okay, like it sucked that I had to wait that long, but also it was a month. It's not like, unless they release those rights up, an Xbox or PC player outside of modding the game will never be able to play a Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you brought that up, and I do want to keep going on into just the comments on the story and just seeing what the overall gaming community is saying about this. And here's one comment that you kind of already brought it up anyways. No one gave a hoot when Xbox 360 was dominating and snapping up BS exclusivity details. GTA Ballad of Gay Tony lost in the demand exclusive for 360 for near a year. All the Fallout 3 DLC was exclusive to Xbox 360 for 6 months to a year, plus all the Call of Duty deals and loads more. This is simply payback for starting this policy now. Sony is in the lead and can dominate these types of deals. And then here's another one. This is a deal that only benefits Sony and Square, not gamers, which is why it's so sad to see people willing to defend it. It's one thing for these companies to fight over timed exclusives, a practice that still sucks, but at least everyone buying the game is getting the same content they're paying for, then buy some just later than others. But this is nothing more than Sony paying to keep content away from other platforms, and that just sucks. As someone that even owns a PS4 and plans for a PS5, I really dislike this deal, so I can't imagine how much this would put off Xbox or PC only players.
It's hard for me to imagine why PlayStation and Sony, even though, like, you know, obviously Spider-Man is you said that Spider-Man was like
no, Sony has a lot. Well, think about that. Like the reason why all this stuff with Spider-Man and the MCU took so long and has been like such a headache is because Sony owns the film rights and a lot of the
right.
distribution rights for Spider-Man, because, you know, in the 80s and 90s Marvel was about to go under, and so
right.
that's why Fox had, you know, the Fantastic Four and X-Men, and so when Marvel Studios went and bought back all the ones from Universal and these other studios, when, like, before Disney bought them, they weren't able to get these back because Sony was like, no, I'm not going to sell Spider-Man, and Fox was like, no, so Disney's like, okay, we'll just buy it.
So I guess, like, it's hard for me to, like, understand why they would think it's a good idea to do something that, like, yeah, like they have a lot of rights to Spider-Man, but it's like, this is obviously a bad marketing move, because it's like, you know, Spider-Man is one of the most popular characters, and it's not like they can't put him on Xbox. They just chose not to, and to have him be exclusive and for seemingly no reason at all, it's like, yeah, they might have more rights to him, but it's like, it's not, obviously Microsoft players want Spider-Man, and they would be able to put it on Microsoft, so it's kind of like a, you know, you can't play with us kind of deal. Like, it's like, oh, you can't come over here, you can't have Spider-Man.
Well,
because
what
you
it
don't
is
support our stuff.
Sony is looking at it as it's making the PS4 version more desirable, and
yeah,
and that's gonna happen. Like, there are gonna be like you know, your normal casual gamers that are gonna go out and buy it on PS4 because of Spider-Man, but yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like, this deal is only good for Sony and Square Enix, because Sony
it's such a dick move that I want to buy the game on Xbox even if I don't get an Xbox. Like, I just, it's so shitty that it's like, I would rather not be able to play it on a system I don't have than like feed into something that's this, like, this. It's shitty, honestly.
There are just so many other ways to push the PlayStation than
for sure.
This does
like,
seem a little bit more
cosmetic skins, like we said, are like, you know, that's something, if you want to have that exclusive to your console, or like, you know, that's totally fine, I get that. But when you exclude something as not just a character, but one of the biggest characters of all time, one of the biggest superheroes of all time to your system, that is just kind of like, that's a little bit too far.
Yeah, it would be one thing if it was a more side character, like even like War Machine. Even though he's still pretty popular, but like if it was just like War Machine, that wouldn't hit quite as hard.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because Spider-Man.
Yeah, because with War Machine, it's like, okay, like they could give him a couple things that set him apart, but War Machine would basically be just a Iron Man skin.
Exactly.
Or like if they had, like for Captain Marvel, if they put Captain Marvel in the game, they could put Carol. They can put Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, or they can put like because there's been multiple Captain Marvels, or even it's one of those that Sony could have had Miles Morales Spider-Man exclusive. So like to promote the Miles Morales game, like they could do that, and like that's fine because like he gets one extra power that like his invisibility or something like that. That's like he gets something that is a little exclusive, but in the grand scheme of things, he's basically a skin. Where unless they put Venom in the game, and even Venom is different from Spider-Man. That's the only like semi-close thing to having an equivalent on the Xbox, because there's no equivalent to Spider-Man like you mentioned you have with War Machine and Iron Man.
Yeah.
This deal sucks for Xbox and PC users.
It just sucks for the gaming community. At a time when everything is getting more and more camaraderie with everything, it's just not a good thing anymore. Like we've said, console exclusive things are fine when it doesn't affect the grand scheme of things. A weapon skin, a custom skin for a character, a skin for a racetrack, who cares? But when it's stuff that is going to like affect gameplay, luckily we don't have cross-platform announced for this game as of right now, so it's not going to completely screw over an Xbox player. Like if let's say I got it and Connor got it and we could play together, I can be like, oh, I'm Spider-Man, you can't be him. Like, luckily that's not there yet. But if that comes too, that'll make it even worse, because then it's like, oh, look, then they can just rub it in their faces even more.
Yeah, and I hate that move, because personally I like both consoles. Like all consoles offer something cool for everyone, and I hate when there's just more separation. But we'll try to keep you guys informed more as the story pans out. So yeah, just please come back and we'll try to update you guys as much as possible. Let's move on to the next topic we have: Lego Star Wars Holiday Special coming to Disney Plus in November. Lucasfilm has announced that a LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special is set to make its way to Disney Plus later this year. The official Disney Plus Twitter account shared this news on Thursday alongside 2 first-look photos and a festive sweater emblazoned logo for the 45-minute feature, which will premiere exclusively on the service November 17th, the same day that the original Star Wars Holiday Special aired on CBS in 1978.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
I love this. So the Holiday Special is pretty infamous, the original one, because it's quite bad. it only aired once, and so like the only footage that's up is for people who recorded it like on that broadcast at the same time and have had ways to preserve it. And it's just like everything about it is just known for just being pretty bad. And this looks like they're actually taking inspiration from it, because they're talking about how they're preparing for Life Day, and then on Kashyyyk the characters are going to go and celebrate Life Day there, and so they're going to have Lego versions of some of the different characters from that special. That the original Holiday Special is actually where Boba Fett made his original appearance, since originally he wasn't in Episode 4 after that scene was cut.
I didn't know that. That's
so there's lots of like that, which is pretty funny.
Have you seen the original Holiday Special?
I've seen parts of it. I've seen parts of it, and yeah, like the parts of it's what's weird about it is it's a mixture of live action and animation. So there's parts of it that are live action, and then there'll be parts of it that they're playing that it's a cartoon. So I don't like the Holiday Special is its own beast of a thing with Star Wars lore. It's so goofy. That
is it one of those things that's so bad it's good, or it's just plain bad?
Yeah, it's one of those that because it's universally panned by critics and audiences. It's I want to say on on a lot of like rating sites it has like 3 out of 10s or stuff like that.
Wow.
So it's a pretty it's pretty disliked, and so the fact that we're getting basically a remake of it is pretty awesome.
I'm looking forward to this. I've heard of it a little bit, but I haven't ever seen anything from the original holiday special, but I'm excited for this because I mean, you guys know I'm a major Christmas person, and for something to be like cringy is usually something that I'm even more into. So like when it comes to Christmas stuff, so I'm hoping that this ups the cringe even further if possible.
You know, if there's something about like if you have a bad movie with live action stars, that's just a bad film. But if you take that exact same film and make it like animated, or you make it like a Lego movie, then it's just quirky, and I think it probably works better as an Xbox as a Lego movie. And I would absolutely pay to watch this. And I'm glad that it's coming to Disney Plus because I have Disney, or my friend has Disney Plus, and I stole her login information.
That is illegal. Arrest him.
No, it's not. It's not illegal. It's just frowned upon, and you could potentially get fined for. But yeah,
arrest him.
We'll definitely we'll watch that, and we'll keep you guys updated. I think we all plan on watching it, correct?
Yeah,
of course. Perfect. I mean, I always love watching goofy Star Wars things. I will definitely be watching this. That is actually Abby's birthday. I don't know if she'll want to watch that on her birthday, so I might have to wait a couple days.
Well, happy birthday to her, way early. Yeah, let's just keep on rolling down the subjects of nerd news now. We're going to move on to Xbox Series X news. So Xbox Series X and S Cloud launch on November 6th. According to controller leaks, a series of alleged controller leaks may have revealed a November 6th release date for Xbox Series X and the much-rumored Xbox Series S, which was just recently announced as quote-unquote like existing. Like they
well, it's not been announced, but yeah, it's leaked. So, but Microsoft still has not officially announced the Series S.
And so Tom Warren on Twitter had a picture of a controller, I think it was, and on the tag on it says, "Do not sell or display before November 6th, 2020," which gives us the rumor of that's the potential release date for the Xbox Series X. What do you guys think? Does this look legitimate?
I think it looks legit.
Yeah, me too.
It's one of those that with the photo ET2, this does not look like anything that's been photoshopped, and so I think November 6th is a smart time to launch it. It's a couple weeks earlier than I expected for Xbox, but that is a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. That is right around the time that Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, all these games come out. So I think it's a smart time. And I would be surprised that if the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are still on schedule to come out, we're going to be seeing both of them around that window, around that the October 30th, the 6th, the 13th, maybe the 20th at the latest for the PlayStation. But yeah, we're going to see a lot of these. That's a perfect time for it to come out, and so hopefully we get something soon because it is halfway through August, and we still don't even know if it's coming for sure yet. We know it's coming November, according to Microsoft, and now maybe this. So, but just give us the date and the price, please.
Yeah.
Please, dear God. Is it with the last generation of consoles? When did we get that price point? When did we get that release date?
Right around this time, we had the release date. We'd already had the price point with the last systems. We got the PlayStation 4 and Xbox prices came out at E3 2013, and then right around this time at Gamescom or one of those other conferences, we had the release dates revealed for November when that happened. So we're right on the time that maybe like we can get all those in these next week or two, but I don't know. With everything that's been going on, I think that it's going to be a pretty late in the game announcement for the actual release date.
Do you see it getting later and later from now on with future generations as we hold out to see who's...
No, I think this is more just... I think the pandemic's having a bigger impact on this. I think if we don't have COVID, we have one of the two of a price point or release date, and we would have had that at E3. But I think because of COVID and production delays, and then just game delays, we talked about it with Halo last week, I think that they're holding off just to make sure first that it's doable, that they can get the system out, and enough games, because it's one, you know, if you put out an Xbox and all the games are coming for it are getting delayed outside of, you know, a slight upres for Call of Duty or Madden, why buy it day one? Like, so if I think that the big reason why they're holding off is because they want to wait to see first if the games are going to be finished in time, and if production is going to be done in time that they can send them out and have it be able to be purchased on the 6th or the 13th or whatever.
Gotcha. Luke, you're so smart. I love having you on here. Without you, I don't know what we would do. All right.
I'm smart.
You is smart. You certainly is. Okay, and man, this news pisses me off. So you guys know that Avatar: The Last Airbender live action TV show we were supposed to get. Yeah, well, the original creators have stepped down and are no longer part of the project. Because of this news, do you guys still plan on watching? Do you guys have any hope for it?
Well, you know me, I watch everything, but so of course I'm going to watch it, but I'm not, now I am no longer expecting good things. Before, I think we really had a very good shot of making something even better than the original. As great as the original was, I thought that, like, with how with the creators on board, you know, them having so much input into what made the show good, what makes it not just like a good show, but such an iconic show, and like the world building, but they would be able to do everything better in live action, look more realistic, and go more in depth with the things that they weren't able to or didn't have the time to before. And without that now, we are likely going to see a stretched out version of what the live action movie was. And I am beyond disappointed, because I mean, we all know that the original cartoon show was iconic, but they had potential to do that again and looking even better. And without the original creators, it's gonna miss. It's just, I mean, we've seen this before. We've seen this at a smaller scale, and now it's blown up to a bigger scale. That's not better. That's not, like, not choosing to not have the original creators is not going to be like a good thing. We've seen it before. It's 10 years ago happening today. You know, I don't know why. It was creative differences that had them step down, but it's like, if that's the reason, then clearly the original creators are not happy, and they don't like what the Netflix producers on the show are wanting, and obviously that means that it's not going to be true to the show. So this is frustrating. This is very frustrating to fans.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's because Netflix is wanting to make the show even more darker and mature than it already was. But, you know, it's like the original cartoon, like, deals with genocide. So, like, I don't know how much darker you can get than that. And it's like they're wanting to get it to where it's going to have some more adult themes into it. And I get that you want to do that because a lot of the people who watched Avatar, you know, are our age. They are the end of their college years, start of their adult life. And so, like, they're older now too, and they consume more mature media. But is that always the right thing to do? I get that, like, you want to make it so the older audience will enjoy it too. But I think the older audience still would enjoy it because of how well the cartoon still holds up. But yeah, I don't know. I maybe I'll watch it, but I'm not planning on. Like, I'm not going out of my way that I'm going to, like, you know, stay up and watch it as soon as it drops on Netflix or anything like that. If it comes out and it looks like they actually still made it be good, then yeah. But yeah, without the people behind it, it's just hard to get behind this series.
Especially since it was due to creative differences. It's like that's the biggest thing for me, is that it's like, if there was some other reason, then, you know, fine. But like, the fact that it was disagreement on how the show should go, it's like, you know, like, yeah, if they wanted to make it more mature, I can be okay with that and go more in depth with, like, characters, learn more about, like, you know, go more, because I feel like there was, even with all the stuff that Sokka and Katara experienced in the show, I feel like they could have made particular episodes, you know, more involved with their pasts, which I think would have been great, and have more stuff with Toph, because Toph was outside of her introduction, even though she came in season 2, she did not have she didn't have much of a backstory after her introduction, like after they left her hometown. So like having more stuff with her, having more interactions between any two members of the main cast would be great. I talked to our friend, to our other group of friends a few days ago, that there wasn't a lot of Zuko Toph interaction because Zuko came so late in the series to join the team that like that's something that, like, obviously that would be later on, but that's something that would be really cool. And any interaction between two characters that you get more screen time for would be great. And I think that that's a good idea, but not if it's going to. I don't want it to be a drama for the sake of being a drama. I want there to be actual reasons, I don't want there to be any new love interests that weren't there before. I don't want anything like that. I want there to be, it's an emotional, high stakes adventure for a kid's show. And I think that that's still very important to preserve that. And if you want to make it like more serious, because one of the things that I think that the movie did right was that they did make it seem like the stakes were high, and I appreciated that, but there was not very much else that they did do correctly. So I don't know. This is just disappointing news for me, because it's something that so many people, thousands of people, were looking forward to this, and now they're not. Now they're very much not. So
I'm not going to be able to add too much in that you guys didn't already touch on, but we go in all of these reimaginings of beloved TV shows with cautious optimism, hoping that they'll be able to hit the nail on the head. And just because it's edgy does not necessarily mean it's good. I mean, the target audience that they want to shoot for, the people that grew up with it, as well as trying to bring in newer fans. We are the generation in our 20s and 30s that watch things as serious and as creepy as Dexter, but also as silly as SpongeBob. I don't think you need to make this more edgy, because it already was pretty much as edgy as possibly could be with a Nickelodeon show being syndicated when it was. I cried, I laughed, and there was still plenty of serious subject matter that it already dealt with. But what do you want more? What other subjects do you want that they haven't already touched on? That when they glance in that, when they shoot in that direction, but they don't necessarily have to speak out loud, like with Jet's quote-unquote death, which was implied. I mean, what more do you want? Do you just want to say it?
I want to know if he died or not. That is one thing that we need
and the
clarified.
show even said that they purposely left it unclear. But, there's always that rule, show, don't tell. Now, if you're just telling it, now it's just kind of lazier almost. You're not necessarily edgy. Now you're kind of lazy with the way that it's already been handled. So, yeah, it's really disappointing news. But as always, we're going to try to watch it and tell you at least what we think and if it's worth your time. But also, if you guys see this show or plan on seeing the show, let us know and tell us what you guys think. But let's move into the next news subject. Here's something this is interesting. We were talking about AMC theaters a couple months ago, and it seems they are coming back, and ticket prices are literally unbelievably cheap. 15 cents on reopening day. That being said, they're playing older movies like Back to the Future, some Star Wars films, but still, holy crap. Who wants to start off this new subject? Johnny?
Yeah, because AMC is 100 years old, so that's why they're doing this. It's their 100 years of movies at AMC is what they're marketing with this. So they're doing 1920 ticket prices. The one thing is, like, this is such a gimmick, but like, is this gimmick really worth getting COVID for?
That's my like, I miss movie theaters more than anything else that we lost through COVID. Like, I would rather like have no more Nintendo news, no more Nintendo Directs, if that means that we could safely open movie theaters again.
Holy shit, that from you, that's actually saying a lot.
Yes, but for this to be like 15-cent movie tickets and AMC opening up theaters for 15 cents is like they are going to single-handedly cause the next wave of COVID in our country. And I am baffled that this is not good news. This is scary news. I'm not going anywhere near a movie theater.
In their defense, and it's not much of a defense, they're opening it up at 30% capacity. So you could literally rent out an entire theater for like $15.
Yeah, there will be social distancing there, but at the same time too, like in an enclosed space like that, like I don't know. Social distancing makes things safer, but it's not. Like, nothing is a guarantee. Like, this is undoubtedly going to start. This is undoubtedly going to cause more cases. I mean, I can't necessarily say that it is going to be the next wave, but this is going to make things worse. This is not helping.
No, it's not. And these are
this
not
is frustrating.
That much bigger than these are a little bit bigger, but they're not that much bigger than the space between students at schools. You're still going to be in a very, very tight space. I'm actually surprised the AMC is willing to do this and willing to go public with it because of the shame that's going to come. Like, they're going to...
Well, they want money, man.
Yeah, they want money. They don't care.
It's the same reason. Well, in America, too, there's people that still think this is a hoax, that, like, when Buffalo Wild Wings and Applebee's reopen for limited dining, they, like, line up at the streets. Like, I got wings at Buffalo Wild Wings for takeout for National Wing Day a couple weeks ago, and there were they had limited tables opened, and they had them all distance apart, but there were people in there, and and they were very happy that they could go eat inside a restaurant. Like, sure, that's nice and all, it's better than eating at home at times, but like it's not worth it. So yeah, they're doing this, and then we're gonna get New Mutants and Tenet. Those are potentially coming out. If things don't go bad, the 15-cent thing is just a little thing, to get ticket sales those first couple days, because it'll be 15 cents that first day, and then only $5 for these classic movies like Black Panther, Empire Strikes Back, and all that. But I don't know. As someone who has been wanting to see New Mutants for the entire billion years it's been in development, and who's been wanting to see Tenet because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, I don't know if this is the right move right now, but hey, it's all good.
Like, this is shameful, and it's frustrating and disappointing and rage-inducing. I'm just like, I want to see a movie in a movie theater safely, but opening theaters right now is not the way to get us to, like, so now, like, this alone could cause, I don't know, another few weeks or months until I get to see a movie safely in a movie theater again. And even like, I don't know. I'm just, this is hard. This is like, like, this is making me angry because it's like, this is not the right move.
I think we're all in agreement here that this, just because it's open doesn't necessarily mean it's worth it. Does not necessarily mean it's good.
Please, if you're listening, or five listeners that are listening, please don't go. Please guys, don't go.
Just let us. I mean, I'll speak for all of us here. Like, guys, it's not a hoax. Wear your mask. Social distance. Please sanitize your workstations and all of that, and just be smart. Don't be stupid.
I'll quote probably a movie that's going to be playing at a lot of these AMC theaters with Jurassic Park. I'm going to quote Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm. Yeah, you scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop and think if they should.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, like, that line is perfect for this.
Perfect.
Because it's, I think all three of us are definitely ones that the ideas of seeing a movie in a movie theater again is great. Like, I've been wanting to see Tenet.
Absolutely.
Since it was first announced, like, even when I knew nothing about it, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so I knew I was gonna like it, and I knew I wanted to go see it on an IMAX screen or and see it day one. But now, as someone who likes to see only a few movies, in the theaters within the first couple of days, I am still going to be hesitant about going these first few days because of all this stuff with COVID. I'm going to try to go at a really peculiar off time if I do go see Tenet in theaters these first few weeks after stuff, to make sure that I can see it. But I'm not going to be going these day ones probably, because especially in a place like there's people in Atlanta too, they're like, oh, this is all a hoax, and yell when you have to wear your mask in Kroger. It's just like, dude, just wear your mask and get over it.
Yeah, I think the last movie I saw was either Sonic the Hedgehog or Birds of Prey. I don't remember, but I saw Sonic the Hedgehog day one on February. I think it was Valentine's Day. I went to go see it with I went to go see it with a friend, and that was 6 months ago. So I haven't been to the movie theater in 6 months, and it's been hard, but I'm fine with it being another 6 months if that means that point we can reopen. But it's who knows,
We're all excited about AMC reopening. It needs to be under the right conditions, and this is clearly not good decision making on AMC's part. So guys, please be smart. Don't risk spreading everything around because things already suck as it is.
One last thing I'll say is you can either get COVID for 15 cents or you can watch a DVD at home for free. Like make your choice.
Especially since all the movies are showing day one are legacy movies. Like you can pay. Yeah, sure, you can't pay 15 cents to go watch Black Panther if you don't have it, but also like. You can sign up for a trial of Disney Plus and watch Black Panther, or Empire Strikes Back, or you probably have a DVD copy of Back to the Future or Jurassic Park somewhere in your house. You can go and watch that. Yeah, it's different watching it on a 50-inch TV versus a big screen, but I mean, oh well.
Yeah, but you won't get COVID if you stay at home.
Exactly. I deal with too many anti-maskers at work, people that genuinely believe it's a hoax, but and so I'm not going to put up with it at theaters anyways, where I just want to go and nerd out. I think we're all in agreement. Yeah, just don't be stupid. And yeah, let's move on to our last news segment of the day before we hit our topic of the week, and that is DC Universe Originals are going to be moved to HBO Max, which is fantastic news for HBO Max users. Who wants to take over this one?
I can. I'm kind of not surprised. So, like, does this mean that DC Universe is dead? Like, is that what this means?
Probably. I mean, DC is struggling right now. So.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Like, they have some pretty good shows. I like Titans. I think that going forward, season 2 was okay, or season 1 was okay. Season 2 was a lot better than season 1, and season 3 is set up to be like exactly what I've been wanting. They haven't felt like an actual cohesive team the first 2 seasons at all, but season 3 ends where they're like all together and they all seem like they're going to be an organized team, and so going forward, hopefully that's good. I've never watched Harley Quinn's series, but I've heard a lot of good things about the animated show. Swamp Thing was really good, but I've heard that might be either moving to the CW. But due to COVID, that's not happening anytime soon. And then Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is the other one. That is also one of the most bizarre shows I think I've ever seen in my life. Next to Legends of Tomorrow. Doom Patrol and Legends of Tomorrow have a lot in common, where it's just like you watch an episode and you're like, oh, this is what the show is going to be like, and then you watch the next episode and you don't know what you're watching. It's a bizarre clusterfuck of a TV show, and you just accept it. But anyway, I'm looking forward to like them going somewhere that's going to be more successful. I'm kind of bummed out that DC Universe is likely dead or dying, but it's just kind of how it goes,
Well, according to this article from IGN, DCU is going to continue to exist. It's in the process of a transformation, but we don't have any more news about what that looks like or when it's going to come.
Basically, what they're saying is that they're gonna simulcast it with like Doom Patrol is gonna simulcast and all that, but then they're going to eventually close it down, and those who have it, their subscriptions can be integrated into HBO for a discount. Blah 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 blah. Basically, it's gonna go where in a year or so, DC Universe is gone, and it's just gonna be even if what they could do is maybe they can make it a extra subscription on HBO Max that you pay your HBO Max, and then for an extra $2 you can access some more stuff, or they're just going to do it all on HBO. But it's basically we're at the beginning of the end of DC Universe.
Yeah, it seems like what you said, Connor, is just like
PR
a
bullshit.
PR talk for we're closing, we're done, we're donezo.
No, we're in a transformational stage. Okay, so
Yeah.
there's no hope. Got it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so you're dead. I got it. I clears. Yeah. So yeah, it's essentially dead, is how it seems. But it's good though that the shows themselves are not dead, which is that's a relief. Even if the subscription service is going to be gone, or in a transformation, whatever you want to call it, the shows are going to keep living and keep going on. So that's
This
a good
could
thing.
not be better news for HBO Max with all the content that they already have and with what they're about to get. I mean, people who own HBO Max must be the best, most handsome friend in their friend groups.
Well, and, this kind of reminds me of YouTube. YouTube, what was it called? It used to be called YouTube Red, but they changed that name
YouTube
because it
Premium?
sounded. Yes, now it's YouTube Premium, and it is. They changed the name because it sounded too much like a porn site, I guess. But now it's YouTube.
There is a porn site called like RedTube or something.
Oh,
like that.
yeah. So that's. It used to be called YouTube Red. Was the premium service, but now they changed it to YouTube Premium. But the YouTube Premium shows are not doing very well on YouTube because no one wants to pay extra money on YouTube. And so some of them, like Cobra Kai, which is one of the best shows that I've ever seen. It was on YouTube, and I'm kind of surprised that with how good it was, it didn't they didn't do well, but it's moving to Netflix for season 3, and they're eventually going to move seasons 1 and 2. I think we talked about this maybe a few months ago, but this reminds me of that because YouTube Premium failed, just like DC Universe, and it's moving to somewhere else where it can succeed and be better. So, Cobra Kai season 3 or any of them aren't on Netflix yet, but it'll be a better home for it, just like all of the DC shows will have a better home at HBO Max, where people will actually watch them.
And a quick question for both of you guys. What is your favorite streaming service?
Netflix.
Yeah, probably Netflix. I mean, I don't use it nearly as much as other people do. Netflix, I mean, like all these places are doing their streaming stuff now because of what Netflix did. Like Netflix becoming so big is why now everyone is making their own piece of the pie.
Netflix is the best one for me, but Hulu and Disney Plus are also good. Hulu is really good at showing TV shows the day after they air on TV, which I really appreciate.
That is fantastic.
Netflix, you wait months until after the season is over for the whole season to appear. But yeah, Hulu is good about doing day one, post premiere. But still, there's so much on Netflix that Netflix originals are the best. In my opinion, of original content.
Agreed.
For it. But Disney Plus is doing some new stuff, like we talked about the Lego Star Wars holiday special. So if they keep doing funny and quirky stuff like that, then Disney Plus, that's going to be good to have a lot of original content too.
This first batch of Disney Plus originals was really, really strong, and so Netflix is going to have quite the competition in the future. The more competition there is for content, it's better for us consumers.
I have to say one good thing about DC Universe dying is, I had it I owned it for, I think a year, and then after the year I stopped subscribing. I just unsubscribed. But it's good that I hope the stuff like this happens more often, that they just kind of eat each other up and go to 3 or 4 places, because I'm really tired of, like Luke said, I'm tired of there being so many different places to have content. If it's just Netflix, HBO, Hulu, and Disney Plus, I'd be perfectly fine with those 4, because those 4 are big enough that they're not going to eat each other up. But
don't forget Peacock, man.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that there's in 5 years they stop trying to be the new Netflix, because you're not going to be the new Netflix, so just stop trying.
Exactly, no one ever will be. It's yeah, and just more good news, another reason to get HBO Max, and yeah, I mean that's. I guess what more? Do you guys have anything else to say about the story before we move on to the topic of the week?
Well, not about the story, but I do have a personal update that I want to, or a semi review that I want to bring up. So this is a late review, but I just got Crash Team Racing because I guess some loser sent it to me.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah, Luke gave me Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled for my birthday, and I've been playing it, and it is so at first I was, just kind of not, I gotta admit, I wasn't exactly the biggest fan, and I'm still not, I didn't grow up with the series, so there's a lot that I couldn't appreciate, but playing it for the past week and a half, I've come to realize that there is so much content in here that, and I'm just talking about like tracks and characters alone, not necessarily, I haven't delved much into the unique game modes or anything outside of racing, but just on tracks and characters alone, there's so much different content that you can get from the game that I wish I was a Crash fan, because I can't appreciate it the way a Crash fan could, but it makes me think, if this is possible to do something that is as extensive as this game is, then why the hell are bigger systems like Nintendo or, any other racing game from Sony or Xbox, why are they not doing stuff exactly like this? This needs to be a model. Crash Team Racing needs to be a model for what a good racing game is, or a good party game is. Like I said, I'm not a big Crash fan, but the amount of content that they've pushed into one game makes me think that this is the I don't know what the term is, but this is the standard that all other party games need to be held to. There's just so much content, and to be a Crash fan is and have this game is such a like under recognized like it's just something that people aren't talking about, and not enough, because this is such a like underrated experience. I gotta say, I don't know how am I making sense to you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so like it's just I want something like this from Nintendo, or a Donkey Kong, like a Diddy Kong Racing, like they did forever ago, or a Mario Kart, or whatever, like they did Banjo Pilot, but like nothing was good. Nothing. No, they didn't have 50 plus characters. They didn't have 30 something tracks. How many tracks are in CTR?
Let's see. So. Because you also plan it post everything launching. But
yeah.
There are, I want to say, about 40 tracks in the game, not counting the PlayStation exclusive version of Turbo Track.
Yeah,
so,
and
roughly 40 tracks, 50 plus characters, with all of the carts and decals and paint jobs and wheel customization too. There's over 700 million customization options that you could do with all the skins and cosmetic stuff too.
Yeah, according to powerpyx.com, there's 44 racetracks.
Okay, yeah, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe does have quite a bit of tracks. I will give it that, but half of them are remade. And I believe that, I mean, well, obviously most of the tracks in CTR are technically remade because the game itself is remade, but still there's a lot of character that the tracks and the characters have that Mario Kart absolutely does not have.
Well, I think the biggest thing too is Mario, as great as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, there's so many filler characters in that game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where
CTR is, I mean, it's clear that a lot of those characters, I mean, I don't know the series, but it seems like a lot of those characters must be like one-offs, But
there's a bunch of one-offs in there, but the only characters that are exclusive to CTR that have never been in a Crash game before it is Baby Crash, Baby Coco, and King Chicken. All of the other characters, and Hasty, the moose. All the other characters have been in Crash games before. Some of them, yeah, it's as one-off as as Norm and Nash and Geary just only in Crash Nitro Kart, or Panda in the iPhone Crash games. But there's no Rose Gold Coco, or there's no
Pink Gold Peach,
there's not characters like there's a bunch of useless skins for them, but they're just skins. There's not a whole character slot that's being taken up by a useless character outside of the baby versions of Crash and Coco. Like the baby versions of Crash and Coco are really some of the only characters that like really the fan base was like, but why?
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm not a Crash fan, but it's hard to not appreciate all the stuff that they have, and it makes me think that if I ever get a game, like Playtonic has, there's been rumors that the next game that they make is going to be a kart racer like Diddy Kong Racing was, and if they do that, I want to see. I mean, I don't think there's really 50 characters in the two games that they've made between Ukulele and Ukulele and Impossible Layer, but they could make if they made 30 characters on there, that might be stretching it, kind of like how CTR was doing one-off characters. But even still, they need to do that. Whether it's Playtonic or Nintendo or whoever, Rare, like they need to, with the next game that decides to make a Crash Team Racing like video game, they need to follow what CTR is doing and give more content. Not necessarily DLC content, though I don't see why they wouldn't in this day and age, but not necessarily as much DLC content, but they absolutely need to, whoever decides to do games like this in the future, need to take CTR as a standard for what gaming should be when it comes to kart racers. I'm sure this is making Luke happy that I'm saying all this, but
true.
But yeah, it is a solid game, and I can say that I appreciate it more for what it is as a game than I can personally say I enjoyed it myself. And I think that
that's because you're trash.
No, that's because I'm not a Crash fan. But I do enjoy the game. I've really enjoyed. I've beaten the adventure mode. I've played through I've played through all of the cups, and I'm trying to do them all on medium right now, and then I'm going to try hard and see how that goes. But
it is a nightmare at times.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm struggling on medium already, but like I'm enjoying the game. I think it's good. If I had more appreciation or understanding of who the characters were and what games they were in and all that, I would definitely appreciate it a lot more. But since I don't, I can't. But that's not to say that I don't understand what a big deal this game is as a whole, like in general. So yeah, I just wanted to give a very late review to a game that's been out for quite a while, but something that I absolutely had to give to the listeners and let them know that this is a game that if you don't have it and you are a Crash fan, or even if you're not, it is something that you can definitely appreciate.
And now you can see why I like it more than good old TSR.
Yeah, and actually that's a very good example. Team Sonic Racing is after playing CTR, I mean I love all the characters that are in TSR, but they absolutely failed compared to CTR. I can't even. It's unfathomable how much there's a difference between the two games. It's disappointing because TSR could have been so great. You know, they could have tripled the cast that they had and still had so many left over, still had people waiting for more. There's only 15 characters, and that for a Sonic game is way low. Way low. So,
would you be open to playing another Crash racing game?
Oh, absolutely. If anything, this got me into the series. This is what CTR is making me want to know more. Like, I'm going to get Crash 4 when I get a PS5. I'm going to get future Crash games. I may or may not go back and play old ones, but this game definitely piqued my interest in wanting to know more about the series as a whole. So,
well, if I go home to Omaha sometime in the next couple of months, I'm going to search around the house and see if I can find Crash Nitro Kart. It's not as good as CTR, but it's still. I had a lot of fun with it.
Those physics are rough compared to it. But some of those tracks you play on CTR, Johnny, are from Nitro Kart, and they change them up a little bit with stuff. But Yeah, it's great. And then Connor, if you get the game on Switch, then I can school you and Johnny at the same time.
True, yes, you can school both of us. I've never played CTR, and it's about time I do.
I've played a handful of races against Johnny, and I think only 2 or 3 of them he finished the race. Because when you do online races, when someone finishes first, you have 30 seconds to finish it. Otherwise, everyone gets the race is just over. Oh, and I want to say probably 2 or 3 races out of like the dozen or so Johnny finished.
Well, Luke was tired of me kicking his ass in Mario Party, so I had to give him something, that gave him the satisfaction.
If I see Luke's name on there, I'm just going to give up because there's no point in playing. He's just going to school me so hard. Yeah, but I mean, I want to play CTR. It sounds like a hell of a lot of fun, Johnny. I'm so glad that you're entering that you're starting your Crash Bandicoot journey, and I'm glad that you got it. I mean, I haven't even played this, so you're playing a title that I haven't even played, and I grew up with a little bit of Crash.
As much as I appreciate it, I mean, you're on the art. You are based your clothes are based off of Crash. The art that our YouTube listeners could have the potential of looking at if you're looking at the screen right now. But you as a Crash fan, you would appreciate it even more than I can.
Absolutely. And there's still an assload of titles I've never played for Crash, and I want to play them. Although, Crash, much like Sonic, Crash is really hit and miss too. Like, I've always wanted to play Crash Bash, but then Luke told me that it's not good, and it's a waste of time.
Yeah, pretty much. But it did introduce us to God, Rillaru himself. So, and that is where when you get the iron checkpoint crates unlocked in CTR, one of his skins is a purple exclamation point crate, which comes from Crash Bash. Well,
my favorite character in CTR is Spyro, because I know nothing about Crash series, so I was like, I've played a Spyro game before, so and I will tell you that I don't ever get sick of finishing a race and always hearing, maybe you could beat me if you stop dragging your feet.
What's your favorite track then?
That's tough. I'm a big fan of the Christmas track because Christmas. What is it called?
Gingerbread Joyride.
Yeah, that's it. I like that one because Christmas. I like the spooky one, the Halloween themed one, which also name I can't remember. I can tell you the one that I hate though is I think it's Cortex Castle or something like that.
I love Cortex Castle.
Yeah, I hate that one because there's a turn that is impossible for me to make. It's like when you get inside the castle and you're like trying to go like all the way around, and you're like there's
the ramp. You have a ramp, and then it's like 2 90-degree angles, and then there's 2 spiders.
Yes.
You got to air brake. You got to learn how to air brake, and then that turn becomes really fun.
Yeah, that is the hardest. Every time I got to that part, I knew it was coming, but I still ran into the wall because it's like impossible for me unless I'm going like at a quarter of my max speed. It is not possible for me to get around that without running right into the wall. I am not a fan of Cortex Castle, but pretty much every other one I've really enjoyed. Even the ones that have kind of I'm a big fan of most of them. I think some of the space ones are less fun because they're so hard, but like the drive-through,
that's drive-through danger. That was the last track they added. Yeah, that one's okay.
Yeah, that one's tough. But I've liked most of them. Like I'd say 80 to 90% of the tracks I really enjoy.
Perfect. Well, Johnny likes it, even though I am schooling him when I do play him. So perfect.
All right. So a rating for CTR, Johnny. What do you think?
I will give it 9.5 out of 10 Spyro Dragon puns.
Honestly, that rating is a lot higher than you had initially set up this conversation for. So
because I'm rating this based on a game rather than how much I enjoyed it. Like I said, if it was based on how much I enjoyed it, I would say it's like a 7.5 or 8. But out of it, as a game itself, it is much more. I'm not gonna rate a game based on my personal enjoyment, because a party game like this is supposed to be fan service, and fan service is best applied to people who are fans. And I am not a Crash fan. I am now, but I did not go into this game as a Crash fan, so it's hard for me to.
You're still a young Crash fan, so
exactly. So it's hard for me to appreciate the fan service when I'm not a fan. So I can rate it based off of how good the fan service is, and it is spot on. It is like when there is so much that I just don't understand as far as like backstories on characters, it almost makes me want to deep dive into Crash lore, you know? Like I want to know more about who is this character, who is that character, why is there, you know, it made me a fan, and I want to so that's why I have to rate it higher than I personally enjoyed it.
Well, that's just good journalism, dude. Like, if you're
Thanks.
making it as unbiased as possible. Let's get right on into the topic of the week. And guys, why is Apple being fucky? Luke, tell me why Apple is being fucky.
Money. Yeah. So Apple's been in the news.
To the podcast,
basically. Yeah, Apple's been in the news for some negative things over the last few days. The biggest one is Apple and Google both removing Fortnite from their app stores. This all started because Fortnite they lowered the V-Buck prices, the currency that you use to buy all your skins and all that. So V-Bucks went down 20% across all platforms. So V-Bucks, that 1,000 V-Bucks that was $10 is now $8. So you know it's better. It's better for consumers. They get more. It's a better value for them. But this went against doing this. They weren't able to do it with the in-game stores for the App Store and for Google Play Store, so they had a different way to buy it on mobile, and because of this, it basically pissed off Apple and Google, and so they removed them from the stores. Epic probably did this on purpose to piss off Apple, because any app on the in-app purchase made on the App Store and Google Play, the Google and Apple take 30% of that cut. So you go and you buy a 99-cent purchase on a game to remove ads. 30 cents of that went directly to Apple, where only 60 cents went to the thing. And so yeah, sure, a company like Epic still has made millions of dollars off of it, but also so has Apple. They've made billions of dollars off of just that 30% cut, and it's pissed off a lot of people for a long time. And so Epic's a company that can do this, and also doing this with Fortnite, which it's one of the most influential video games of all time. Removing this is not a good look for either Apple or Google, even if Epic did break the rules. Like, do you guys really think there's any justification for Apple doing this outside of their rules being broken? Like, ignoring that, is this a good move from Apple and Google?
No, absolutely not. It seems like I think that if it was a rule that was broken, then obviously Fortnite tried to do something without the permission of permission from Apple. But I'm still kind of like there could have been this reminds me a lot of the AMC problem that we talked about months ago, where I don't remember. I think it was Trolls World Tour or something like that they were gonna there was some movie that came out that AMC was upset with, and so rather than basically AMC threw a tantrum, and I feel like this is what Apple is doing now, throwing a tantrum, and nobody is on their side because Fortnite probably they probably did something wrong by changing it without talking with discussing it with Apple. But at the same time, it's throwing a tantrum and saying, well, you can't be on our stores anymore is not exactly the best method for correcting something that they have a problem with,
I think with this, they could have negotiated for Apple to take a lower cut at some.
But they're not going to.
No, definitely not. But I don't know.
Well, and then so the issue you run into that, and this is the reason why Apple just removed it, is okay. So Epic can get a lower fee, then why does Epic get it and not Mattel for their Hot Wheels game? Or why does why does the company makes Candy Crush? Why do they not get it? It's a slippery slope, and that's why Apple doesn't want to do this. But at the same time, it also, like, and I get too, like, if Apple's hosting on their platform, they deserve to take a little bit of a cut. Just like if you go and you buy a game on the PlayStation Store or the Nintendo eShop, Nintendo and Sony take a little bit of a cut of that too, because, like, it's on their storefront. Same way that you go to a brick and mortar store like Walmart. Walmart takes if you go to Walmart right now and bought Paper Mario, Walmart's going to get some of that money in that $60. But 30% is such a big amount that yeah, sure, like I said, for Epic, them, like, it's not that much. That if it was down to 15%, like, that's just more money for Epic, but it's just a bad practice, and what's funny is everyone always gets on Epic, like, they get mad at Epic with the Epic Game Store, where at least the Epic Game Store has a flat 12%, which is such a better percentage that they're taking. But, like, it still has a huge amount of controversy with it, because even though, like, it is a lot lower fee than what you're getting on a bunch of different platforms.
Agreed. So I was reading the article you shared, and I think this is a great thing from Epic Games founder CEO Tim Sweeney. The primary opposing argument is smartphone makers can do whatever they want. And this is an awful notion. We all have rights, and we need to fight to defend our rights against whoever would deny them, even if that means fighting a beloved company like Apple. And another argument against supporting hashtag Free Fortnite is this is just a $1 billion company fighting a $1 trillion company about money, but the fight isn't over Epic wanting a special deal. It's about the basic freedoms of all consumers and developers. And it just seems like it's not necessarily... I think it is a good argument that it's not just about the money. It is about the principle itself. And
it's good that Epic is doing it, because Epic can do it where it's going to barely, like, it's going to impact them, like, with their bottom line, but the impact on Epic Games' bottom line is not going to be the same as a smaller developer that is throwing these games that are supported by 1 trillion ads that you can have that or pay the $3 to get it. Like, there's a reason why Epic doing this is going to have a bigger impact, to where if we do see some sort of change, it's because they did it and not almost any other studio. Them having Fortnite and doing this is a big reason why this could succeed.
Mm-hmm. This is very unfortunate. It's a very anti-consumer move from Apple, and that's actually not the only, like, asshole move Apple made today. We have another story here for Apple not playing nice, and it's Xbox Games Pass won't launch on iOS, and Microsoft was upsetty spaghetti, to say the least. So Apple has made a statement. You go ahead, man.
It makes sense. So as Microsoft has been working on Project xCloud for their streaming service that's going to be with Game Pass, like, one of the big things that we've talked about has been, like, what is Xbox doing type of thing. Is honestly, like, Xbox and Microsoft at the point now that they just want people to play their games. They don't care how they do it. They just want them to play it. And with xCloud, that made it even more so that, okay, if you have an xCloud subscription on on Game Pass, then you have the ability to play Halo or Forza or anything like that. So and so they can't do this because of the rules that they have in place on the App Store. The app is being blocked from publishing because of Apple's review process, because they can't review every single game that comes into it, because there's going to be thousands of games that are going to be on this. And so that's the excuse Apple's coming up with, even though Netflix and Spotify are streaming movies and songs, but that doesn't have to go through a process to get their apps in the store. And so it's just another bad look for Apple, because now You know, if I wanted to get Game Pass and do it, I would have to either get it on my computer or I would have to have an Android phone. And that's just another thing that this is not good in Apple, because it's like just play nice and let people do stuff, because like the iPhone install base is so big. There's over 1.4 billion active Apple devices in the world right now. So xCloud being on an iOS device will help so many people be able to experience these games like Halo and Forza and so many more that they maybe couldn't have without this service, and now they still can't.
So what does Apple gain from not having xCloud?
I mean, nothing. Like they can continue to push their Apple Arcade service, but as good as some of those Apple Arcade games are, the difference of being able to play, you know, a dumbed down version of Team Sonic Racing versus Halo 3, and I get those are two different types of games too, but like the difference between playing a souped up mobile racing game or you know, some huge properties that you can play on with xCloud, like it just doesn't compare. As great as some of those Apple Arcade games are, like I said, like it just is not the same as being able to portably play. Like xCloud is going to basically make it so you can have a Switch equivalent with an Xbox.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm going through the comment section here on IGN, which is probably a mistake on my part, but it seems like there's nobody defending Apple on this. Apple is trying to push Apple Arcade, and now they know xCloud will blow Arcade away, so they're not allowing it at all. Same happened with Stadia, still not on iOS, and then you keep going.
Yeah, you can't stream Stadia on iOS either, and Facebook Gaming, their app is restricted on iOS compared to Android as well. It's they as you know, like it's their own platform. They can do what they want, obviously, with it, because like it is their own thing. Like they can run things how they want to, but the way they're running it is just not a consumer friendly way, and it's just like it's a shitty thing to do.
Exactly. And I did want to ask, how do you guys think this is going to affect the Apple customer base?
Not at all.
So yeah, I don't know really. Like I think it for like I don't think that the people who were really looking forward to xCloud or Facebook Gaming or Stadia, I don't think that we're going to see them switch to Android because of this. Like the people who were going to switch to Android were going to do it for other reasons. Like maybe this was one extra thing that it'll make them happy, but it's the same way why like we don't see people on Mac get upset that they can't play a lot of the same, you know, AAA video games on it, because like Mac just doesn't have the power to run some of these games like you have on a PC. So it's, you know, it's going to be a pretty minuscule impact, I think. The Fortnite one will have an impact, but it's also not on the Google Play Store, so it's not like they can switch to an Android and still play Fortnite. It's, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, this is not going to hurt Apple much. Sure, it's going to sour some people's taste with it, but they're still going to go buy their iPhones, and they're still going to do that. Like, I mean, I still have my iPhone. I still like it. It's annoying that some of these things like this, like I probably would have at least tried out xCloud for a few months, and like that could have been a way that I could have played some of these games I missed out on. But you know, now I can't do that on my phone. I would have to get it on my computer. So like it's a bummer, because like being able to just you know, pair my 8BitDo controller to my phone and be able to play Halo, you know, like at the airport or something like that would have been so nice.
Agreed. And let's move on to final thoughts as we wrap up this show. We've been going on here for 76 minutes, almost 77 minutes. The final thoughts on Apple just kind of not playing nice with others, and then we'll move on to recommendations. Johnny, let's start with you. What do you think about Apple right now?
It seems like, I mean, it's a big company that has complaints based on their practices and them not being very customer friendly. So it's like, yeah, they should see a negative or a downside to them doing this, but I don't think it's going to happen. it's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths for a short time, but I don't think it's really going to have much of an impact. But like Luke said, like Epic Games, for example, and the Fortnite thing, they like are a good example of like, if you're I will say comparatively smaller, not small, but smaller company that is on the side of fans, I think that's something that's going to leave them with positive response from the fans, because they are not gonna follow Apple's rules every time, because they're kind of being the Mr. Krabs in the situation. It's all about money. So it's good. So Epic Games is I think the good guy in the scenario for that case. But as for everything, it's just kind of broad strokes. I think Apple is kind of being too greedy and being too picky and being too not good.
I mean, what Apple does. I mean, it's like it's not surprising with
not at all.
With how Apple has not played nice with different things in the past. I mean, we've seen it before with stuff. I mean, like there was that time where it was looking like we were going to be losing Microsoft Office support on Mac, and just all these other little things like that where, you know, like Apple and Google and Microsoft don't play nice with each other. And at a lot of times, and it's just because all of them, you know, they're competing with each other and they want them to use their own things. But like sometimes you just gotta just put it down and just let everyone kind of just have things together, and just like I mentioned earlier with gaming, like it's with the Sony thing. It was so weird that we are moving away from like fierce competition and more just like, you know, being competitive, but also like more of a friendly competition. And then we have stuff like this where it's just like, let the fans be able to do stuff, and you're still going to get money, and like there's still going to be, you know, exorbitant amount of money that Apple can make at 20% or 15%. Sure, it's less, but also I don't think Apple is going to be hurting if they were to lower these transaction fees.
They wouldn't, and they're still on track to be the first $1 trillion company, which is mind-boggling. So I want to pass the question on to the listeners. What do you guys think about any of these news topics we've touched on today? What do you guys think about Apple pulling these dick moves? And are they kind of hypocrites? Are they picking and choosing who is and is not following their guidelines? Let us know down in the comments. And from that, let's move on to recommendations. Johnny, you recommended Santa Clarita Diet for us to watch. You recommended 2 episodes. Why did you choose this show? It's
been it's hilarious. It's a good show that I think is it breaks from the norm of what I normally watch, which are like TV dramas, and this is a hilarious show that has dark humor, and it did it very well. It's a hilarious show, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and it's a great change of pace for me personally whenever I went through it last year. So I wanted to let you guys do the same thing.
I love horror comedies, and this one's starring Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. Yes, I thought this was a very unique take on zombies, and I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really funny. I thought the handling of balancing comedy with the horror aspect, I didn't really think there was actually much horror to it. There was some shock factor. There was some gross parts to it. I thought it was just overall a hilarious show. I mean, I guess if I had to really nitpick, I thought it was interesting that the husband by Timothy Elephant was... He just went along with it without really asking many questions, other than like
as good husbands do.
Yeah. Other than how the hell did this happen? It did not take much. It took one nighttime conversation while they were falling asleep for him to be like, okay, yeah, let's kill people so you can eat. I thought that was a little bit glossed over, like that he was.
I mean, so would you do it for your wife?
Not even a little, not even kind of.
Oh, okay.
I would probably put Em out of her misery, to be honest, if she turned into a zombie. But yeah, I feel like if I were to pick and like really nitpick this show, I think the family going along with it so easily was a little
that is part of the comedy.
Yeah, not too bothersome, at all. It's just a nitpick. That was me trying hard to find something wrong with the show. I just had a great time with it. Luke, what did you think of Santa Clarita?
We had the opposite. I did not really like this.
Really?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Abby and I watched the first episode together, and the whole time, I don't know. There was a lot of issues. I was fine with it. I think the biggest one was I didn't think it was written very well at all. Like the idea it's a good concept. It's a unique concept, but I didn't think that the writing and then the delivery, especially from Oliphant, was. I did not think that Joel his delivery with all of his lines and then just the writing was really poor. I was not a fan. I didn't really find any of it funny either. There was only a couple times where I kind of chuckled, but I don't know. I was not, and I was surprised because it has a good cast with Andy Richter and Nathan Fillion, Drew Barrymore. There's a good amount of cast in there, but I just didn't really enjoy it at all.
Well, you're stupid.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Got him.
Everyone has their tastes, and there were times where I did think the writing was a little cheesy, but I guess this must have caught me in a good mood. I had a lot of fun with it. I actually could see myself continuing to watch more episodes. I don't know if I would complete the series, but I would definitely watch more episodes from now on. And hey, maybe I will. If I complete the series, I'll let you know, Johnny. But yeah, for this one, I think I would give this a solid 8 out of 10. Andy Richter's cussing and screaming at Drew Barrymore's.
All right, and Luke.
What about you, Luke?
I will give it a 3.5 awkward Nathan Fillion trying to sexually assault Drew Barrymore's out of 10.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will move on. This week it is Luke's turn. Luke, what do you got for us?
Yes. So I have been very nostalgic this past week, and I have been watching. When I've been at work, I've been having on the old Hop movies they had when I was a kid. So for the 30th anniversary in 2003, they did this big special. They called it Highway 35, and it was it was 4 episodes of a CGI show that's told this world race in this alternate dimension that was built by these ancient beings. And to coincide with it, they released 35 special versions of different Hot Wheel cars, ranging from classic ones like Twin Mill and a 60s Corvette to some of the other wacky type of Hot Wheels cars that we've seen throughout the years. And so the original movie was one of my favorites as a young lad, and I was rewatching that and its sequel series Acceleracers over the past few days. So I am giving you the Highway 35 World Race full length movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes when it's all said and done, and so it's it's a 2003 kids movie. So there's going to be there's plot holes you can easily find, and there's some hiccups in the animation you can find, but it is definitely one that brings a lot of nostalgia back for me, and so I definitely enjoy it. And actually, a fun fact for you: the theme song for Highway 35 was done by Smash Mouth.
And where can we find this?
It is on YouTube. I sent you a link in the notes. There's a guy on YouTube who went and they upconverted it to 1080p, 60 frames per second. So I shared that link there. And then if you want to watch the Acceleracers ones after that, he has gone and put all those up as well. That'd be another about 4 hours to watch those episodes as well. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's super cheesy. But sometimes you need a little bit of cheese in your life. So
I'm really looking forward to this. I'm gonna have a blast with this. I love Hot Wheels so much.
It's so great. I have nothing but but great things to say about the series, despite the fact that there are some I can point out some really obvious like plot holes and stuff. There's just some other goofy stuff, but the whole series was great, and I'm so bummed because Accelerators ends on a cliffhanger, the sequel series, and we still have never gotten a true sequel to it yet, and I'm just like, come on now. But oh well, it is wonderful. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as well.
We'll let you know. Yeah, so that will do it for this week's episode. If you guys are going to watch this movie along with us, please let us know what you guys think. If you've seen it before, let us know what you think. Again, for anything we've talked about, please put down in the comments what your thoughts are about it. And if you guys hate Johnny as much as we do, please let us know.
Hell yeah.
Yes, please.
Joking. And I do want to, just on a personal note, I do want to brag that I bought my first ever laptop today, and I'm so proud of myself. Although it did hurt a little bit to pay for it, but it did feel good that now we're actually going to be able to.
The only proof we have is you sent us a picture of a laptop box. There's no proof, as far as what Luke and I can tell, that there was an actual laptop you purchased.
I mean, he is, Facebook messaging, video chatting me right now. So he is able to show me that he is on it. So I can definitely see that there is a Microsoft Surface laptop open on our notes page. So unless that's the same computer he's been using, unless it's the same computer he's been using for these previous episodes, it looks like he is not giving us the fake news.
It is fake.
I can assure you guys, these facts are definitely not alternative. They are they are as true as can be.
The best facts are not alternative facts.
Agreed. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on any podcast network. We're on basically everything.
Pretty much. And follow us on Twitch as well. Now that school is starting back up, I'll be able to stream a little more and have some more free time with that. So I can finally finish The Last of Us, maybe.
Woot!
Ooh, finally.
Maybe stream other fun games too. And then as we get into the spoopy season, maybe Connor can start streaming some stuff, or if Johnny gets a streaming thing, we can see him getting on that stream train as well. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things that can come now that things are getting more free time again, because COVID's never ending.
Yeah, it never. We're gonna be like this. I wouldn't be surprised. I was talking with my coworker at the bank about COVID and when it's gonna be done, and she thinks that we're gonna be probably gonna be into 2022 by the time we see COVID finally dissipate.
Oh, good.
That just made me super depressed.
Yeah,
that's great.
Believe it, man. Especially because people were like, "Oh man, I don't care. I'm gonna not wear my mask when I go to Kroger, and this is all fake news, and this is all just the libs trying to rig the election and all this other whatever."
Guys, please wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands.
Don't go to the movies.
Please don't go to the movies. Dear God. This is not fake. Like, people actually are dead because of this.
Yeah. But
and on that happy note, I guess we'll end it there. So thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for being with us for 26 episodes, and we'll see you guys next time.